For decades, we've been told that Alzheimer's disease is an inevitable consequence of aging, something we must simply accept and try to delay with expensive medications that often come with devastating side effects. But groundbreaking research from Harvard Medical School and the Mayo Clinic is revealing a stunning truth that pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know. There's a simple social activity that prevents Alzheimer's more effectively than any drug on the market, and it costs absolutely nothing. Today, I want to share with you the remarkable science behind this discovery and how you can harness this powerful tool to protect your brain and maintain your cognitive sharpness well into your golden years. What I'm about to reveal challenges everything we thought we knew about brain health and offers genuine hope for millions of people who fear losing their memories and independence. The conventional approach to Alzheimer's prevention has focused almost exclusively on pharmaceutical interventions, brain training games, and dietary supplements. While these methods receive massive funding and media attention, they've shown limited success in real-world applications. The medications currently available can slow progression in some patients, but they don't prevent the disease and often cause significant side effects, including nausea, diarrhea, loss of appetite, and sleep disturbances. Brain training games, despite their popularity, have shown minimal transfer to real-world cognitive abilities. Even the most expensive supplements marketed for brain health lack conclusive evidence for Alzheimer's prevention. Meanwhile, millions of older adults are unknowingly engaging in or avoiding the one activity that could dramatically reduce their risk of developing this devastating disease. The problem is that our modern society has inadvertently created conditions that work against this natural protective mechanism. We've become increasingly isolated, relying more on digital communication than face-to-face interaction. And many people retire into solitude thinking they're enjoying well-deserved peace and quiet. This social withdrawal, while understandable, may be inadvertently accelerating cognitive decline. The activity I'm referring to is meaningful social engagement, but not just any social interaction. The research reveals specific types of social activities that create profound neuroprotective effects in the brain. Dr. Lisa Berkman's landmark study at Harvard followed over 16,000 adults for more than a decade and found that those with the strongest social connections had a 50% lower risk of developing dementia compared to those who were socially isolated. This protective effect was stronger than what's typically seen with Alzheimer's medications. The key lies in understanding what constitutes meaningful social engagement. It's not about the quantity of social contacts, but rather the quality and complexity of social interactions. The most protective activities involve regular, face-to-face communication that requires active listening, empathy, emotional processing, and collaborative problem-solving. These interactions create what neuroscientists call cognitive reserve, essentially building up the brain's resilience against age-related changes. When you engage in meaningful social interaction, your brain activates multiple neural networks simultaneously. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive function and decision-making, works over time to process social cues, interpret facial expressions, and formulate appropriate responses. The temporal lobe, crucial for memory formation, strengthens its connections as you recall shared experiences and create new memories with others. The limbic system, which processes emotions, becomes more active and better regulated through positive social experiences. One of the most powerful forms of this social activity is regular participation in group discussions or book clubs. When you engage in thoughtful conversation about literature, current events, or shared interests, your brain performs complex cognitive gymnastics. You must comprehend multiple perspectives, synthesize information, articulate your thoughts clearly, and adapt your communication style to different personalities. This mental workout is far more comprehensive than any brain training app could provide. The neuroprotective benefits occur through several biological mechanisms. Social interaction triggers the release of oxytocin, often called the love hormone, which has anti-inflammatory properties and promotes the growth of new brain cells. Regular social engagement also reduces cortisol levels, the stress hormone that can damage the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. Additionally, meaningful social connections provide a sense of purpose and belonging, which research shows is directly linked to cognitive longevity. Religious or spiritual communities offer particularly powerful protection against cognitive decline. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that people who regularly attended religious services had a 40% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's compared to those who rarely or never attended. The protective effect comes not from the religious beliefs themselves, but from the rich social fabric these communities provide. Regular gatherings, mutual support systems, shared rituals, and meaningful conversations about life's deeper questions. Volunteer work represents another extraordinarily effective form of social engagement for brain health. When you volunteer, you're not just helping others. You're creating complex social interactions that challenge your brain in unique ways. You might be teaching literacy to adults, serving meals at a community center, or organizing fundraising events. Each of these activities requires social coordination, problem-solving, empathy, and adaptability. Research from the University of Michigan found that older adults who volunteered regularly showed significantly slower rates of cognitive decline compared to their non-volunteering peers. The timing and consistency of social engagement matter significantly. Sporadic social contact doesn't provide the same benefits as regular, predictable interactions. Your brain thrives on routine social stimulation, much like how physical muscles respond better to consistent exercise rather than occasional intense workouts. Ideally, meaningful social interaction should occur at least 3 times per week, with each session lasting at least 30 minutes and involving active participation rather than passive observation. Intergenerational social activities provide unique cognitive benefits that same-age interactions cannot match. When older adults regularly interact with younger people, particularly children and grandchildren, their brains must adapt to different communication styles, energy levels, and perspectives. This cognitive flexibility exercise is particularly protective against the rigid thinking patterns that often precede dementia. Grandparents who regularly care for grandchildren show remarkably preserved cognitive function compared to their peers without such responsibilities. The protective effects extend beyond preventing Alzheimer's to enhancing overall cognitive function. People with rich social lives maintain better working memory, processing speed, and executive function as they age. They're also less likely to experience depression and anxiety, which are significant risk factors for cognitive decline. The emotional support provided by social connections creates a buffer against life's stresses, preventing the chronic inflammation that can damage brain tissue over time. Technology can either help or hinder these social benefits, depending on how it's used. Video calls with family members who live far away can provide meaningful social interaction, especially when the conversations are substantive and emotionally connected. However, social media browsing and text messaging don't provide the same neuroprotective effects as face-to-face interaction. The brain responds differently to digital communication, missing many of the subtle social cues and emotional nuances that make in-person interaction so cognitively enriching. For those who find it challenging to maintain social connections due to mobility issues, hearing problems, or transportation barriers, creative solutions can make a significant difference. Senior centers often provide transportation services and hearing-assistive devices. Community organizations frequently need volunteers who can work from home, such as making phone calls to isolated seniors or participating in virtual support groups. Even small social interactions, like chatting with neighbors or grocery store clerks, contribute to cognitive protection when they occur regularly. The most inspiring examples come from real-life stories of cognitive resilience. Consider Margaret, a 78-year-old retired teacher who began showing early signs of memory problems 5 years ago. Instead of accepting decline, she joined a weekly discussion group at her local library, started volunteering at a literacy program, and reconnected with old friends through monthly dinner gatherings. Today, her cognitive function has not only stabilized, but actually improved according to her doctor's assessments. Her secret wasn't expensive treatments or complicated interventions, but rather the deliberate cultivation of meaningful social connections. Similarly, Robert, an 82-year-old widower, found himself increasingly isolated after his wife's death. His children noticed concerning memory lapses and social withdrawal. Rather than immediately turning to medication, his family encouraged him to join a men's group at his church and volunteer at the local food bank. Within 6 months, his cognitive clarity returned, his mood improved dramatically, and his memory concerns essentially disappeared. The transformation occurred not through medical intervention, but through the healing power of human connection. The research also reveals that the quality of relationships matters more than the quantity. Having 3 close, supportive friendships provides more cognitive protection than having dozens of superficial acquaintances. The key is emotional depth, mutual support, and regular, meaningful interaction. These deep connections provide cognitive challenges, emotional regulation, and stress reduction that superficial relationships cannot match. Starting or revitalizing your social connections doesn't require dramatic life changes. Begin by identifying activities that genuinely interest you and involve regular group participation. This might be a gardening club, a walking group, a cooking class, or a community theater group. The specific activity matters less than the social interaction it provides. Look for opportunities that occur weekly or multiple times per week, involve the same group of people over time, and require active participation rather than passive observation. If you're naturally introverted or have been socially isolated for some time, start small and build gradually. Attend 1 social event per week for a month. Then slowly increase your involvement as you become more comfortable. Many people find that their social anxiety decreases significantly once they establish regular social routines and begin experiencing the mood-boosting effects of human connection. The economic implications of this research are staggering. If more older adults engaged in regular, meaningful social activities, we could potentially prevent millions of cases of Alzheimer's disease and save hundreds of billions of dollars in healthcare costs. Yet this powerful prevention tool remains largely overlooked by mainstream medicine, perhaps because there's no profit in prescribing social connection. For family members of aging relatives, this information provides both hope and a clear action plan. Instead of waiting for cognitive problems to emerge and then treating them with medications, families can proactively create social opportunities that protect brain health. This might involve organizing regular family gatherings, encouraging participation in community activities, or helping loved ones find volunteer opportunities that match their interests and abilities. The evidence is overwhelming, and the solution is accessible to nearly everyone. Meaningful social engagement provides cognitive protection that surpasses what we see with expensive medications, complicated brain training programs, or exotic supplements. It costs nothing, has no side effects, and provides additional benefits for emotional health, physical well-being, and overall life satisfaction. The choice is yours. You can wait for cognitive problems to develop and then try to treat them with limited success, or you can harness the remarkable protective power of human connection starting today. Your brain is waiting for the stimulation, challenge, and joy that comes from meaningful relationships with others. The friends you make, the conversations you have, and the communities you join aren't just enriching your life today. They're building a fortress of protection around your most precious asset, your mind. Remember, it's never too late to build these protective social connections, and it's never too early to start. Your future cognitive health depends not on what medication you might take years from now, but on the relationships you cultivate and maintain today. The most powerful medicine for your brain isn't found in a pharmacy. It's found in the warmth of human connection and the joy of shared experiences with others who matter to you.